Well, hello brothers and sisters, welcome to Mission Zero. If this is your first time here, my name is Shawn, and this is Vlogmas. I've actually given up trying to number it because I've got a few that are in process and I was a little behind. Anyway. Okay, so the sun is setting, but it's still up. I finished my workday, and it's still up. I may actually get a vlog posted before 10 p.m. Hooray! Anyway, I wanted to talk about something today, and I'm going to use two stories to illustrate it. We'll try and keep it short. The first story comes out of Matthew chapter 8. Matthew 8, verses 19, a scribe comes to Jesus and is like, "Hey man, I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus responds, "Foxes have holes, birds have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." Okay. Yeah, cool story, bro. Awkward turtle, like, that doesn't have anything to do with what I just said to you. And worse for us, the next verse, verse 21, this goes into a whole different story. We never get to know why that's what he said to this guy. Now, there's a lot of presumptions about it, but we don't actually know. And that gets to the second story, which is in Luke 10, verses 17 and 18. So in verse 17, the disciples have been out and they've been doing miracles, and they're like, "Dude, Jesus, we have been healing people, and we have been helping people get saved, and we have even been banishing demons in your name. That's awesome." And Jesus says, "I watched as Satan fell to earth like lightning." Okay. Great. That's awesome. Now he does, at least in that one, go on to explain what he meant. But the thing about these two stories that's interesting to me is, as infuriating as it must be for little brains like us to try and have a conversation with Jesus, how infuriating must it have been for him? See, what he's saying in this second story is confirming all of the Christophanies, the appearances of Christ through the Old Testament. He's saying, no, I was there. I was there when Lucifer was the worship leader of heaven and had his rebellion. I was there when Meshach and Abednego were thrown in the fire. That was me that the king saw. When Jacob was fighting for his blessing, it was me he was fighting with. I'm the one that touched his leg and withered it and then blessed him. When God in Genesis 1:1 said that darkness was upon the face of the earth, what should we do about this? I was the we. This is what Jesus is saying here. Can you imagine? He retained all of his non-linear, time-based memories, if you can call it that. He retained all of that knowledge in his linear, mortal, pea-brained body. All of the past, all of the future to come, it was all there to him. The translation of that to try and spit out something that was relevant in a moment of time for a person who's talking to you had to be inordinately tough. He's not seeing the scribe at this moment in time. He's not seeing these disciples as they ask this question. He's seeing their entire lives from birth to death, very likely their afterlife as well. He's seeing the whole tree. And here's this one vein and one leaf that's trying to ask him a question. And wowee, how difficult that must be. Which is why every answer that he gives is these multiple layers of meaning. Because he's not just talking about now. He's not just talking about the future. He's talking about all of it. And that is mind-blowing. That all matters. It's more than just some spiritual or sci-fi or magical thinking kind of thing. this is important to know for a super practical reason. Just this one simple practical reason. That was proof that he knew everything you've done, and everything I've done, and everything you will do, and everything I will do. And he still got up on that cross and died for us. He still petitioned, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." He still went and made a place in heaven for each of us. And that, man, you can't beat that. You can't talk around that. You can't escape that. He forgave you, and all you have to do is say yes. That's it. The most lopsided deal in history. And that is so heartening to me, because in the times when I am frustrated with what I do and don't do, and the videos that I wanted to make that are late, and the things that I haven't gotten done, and the artistic expression that kind of isn't where I wanted it to be, right? These are the things these are the shadows in the room that I could choose to look at and beat myself up with. And that I think a lot of people out there, maybe you, are beating yourself up with. But there's this. None of those mistakes matter to him in the least. He loves you. He forgives you. All he wants you to do is turn your eyes to him. All he wants is for you to fall into his arms. The same way that you or I, when we see our spouse or our kid struggle, all we want is to be able to put our arms around them and comfort them and let them know it'll be okay. That's all Jesus ever wanted to give all of us. And man, it had to be infuriating to hear him say these words that you just couldn't wrap your mind around. But if you chewed on them, and you chewed on them, and you chewed on them for a few thousand years like we collectively have, the depth of power in his love is mind-blowing. And so that's the thing I wanted to say today. I'm going to try and edit this down because I natively talked 11 minutes, but let that be edifying for you today, and let that get you amped as it gets me amped today. And I love you so much, and may God pour out all of the blessings of understanding his grace in us. And peace out.